So I think if you think about the glass ceiling, what really causes the glass ceiling is there has historically been a lot of men at the top and men of a certain profile. And it's actually a very normal thing for humans, men, women alike, to want to spend time and work with people that are like them, right? And that, I think, has been a lot of the cause of that thick glass ceiling. I have spent time in a previous role where there was a very thick glass ceiling, right? Where there was a lot of men of a certain profile that were very close, and it was hard to break through. So, I know what it's like, and I know what it's like to be going against that. I think I've been lucky enough in my recent company and more recent times, as well as with the change that's happening in the ecosystem, I don't feel that anymore, all right? I feel you have so many, in my leadership particularly, and I think you see this in many places now, where leaders are looking to work with people that are different than them, embrace diverse opinions, embrace diversity, and our culture is really switching around that. So it's actually a wonderful evolution of having the feeling of knowing what that used to be like, and now feeling like, in my experience at least right now, where I am, it's not there.
That is very encouraging.
Yeah.
So no one achieves your level of success without having a target on your back at some moment during your career. Talk about a time when you felt like you weren't on the most solid ground. How did you deal with it? How did you think about it? What lesson did you learn from what could have been construed as a moment of failure?
I think it's, as we had just mentioned before, I have had an experience where there was a culture with a very thick glass ceiling, right? And I think I went about it in several different ways of just seeing, if being very good at my job, beating my numbers, continuing to win, could enable that ability to break through. And I think that's kind of what you have to do. I also think there is an opportunity, in my experience then, when it was a harder time, I actually created a women in leadership organization within that company. I brought in strong women leaders and tried to really change the culture from the ground up. And that was, I guess, over 10 years ago, right? That was kind of before such a push. But now I see that push happening across many organizations and happening at so many levels. So it's great to see the evolution that has existed.
Yes, and I actually know some people who think that you're a mentor, which I absolutely love, some young women, totally amazing. Speaking of, what are the most important traits for a leader to develop? Does it differ by gender?
So it's important for a leader to accept and embrace diverse opinions, not just to change our culture for the better, but for better business results. I think it's an interesting challenge because strong leaders tend to really believe in themselves and be very confident, and you have to have the balance of having that capability while still having empathy and listening and pausing and saying, is there a better way to do this? Could that opinion be different? That's different than mine, actually kind of add to this situation. So I think it's that balance.
I loved that. Okay, so we have a generation of consumers coming up that are already demonstrating a preference for brands and companies that quote unquote do well by doing good. They want to spend their money on goods and services that help protect the planet, on businesses that hire and promote diverse workforces, and on companies that stand for something bigger than profit. How do brands pursue purpose authentically?
So I think it is a big challenge for brands today. And I think what it starts with is a brand really understanding what their values are. And so what we have built to support our brands at Omnicom Media Group is what we call our purpose-driven media investment framework. So we look at that across 4 different pillars. We've essentially have a capability around planning and inventory curation with data ethics as one, so acquire several data sources around data ethics, around journalistic integrity as the second pillar, around sustainability as the third, and then of course minority-owned inventory and publishers as well. And so the way we've approached this differently is really that we provide a planning framework and the ability for brands to make a choice and understand the cost-value trade-off of their own decisions, because we as an agent need to empower the brand's values, not push our values on the brand. And sometimes making decisions with your values means it might be more expensive than not, right? So we've had to enable brands to make those choices and empower them.